Okay, this is unit test 1, video solutions to questions 5 through 8. And then we already have 1 through 4. And now we'll do 5 through 8, and then we'll put 9 and 10 on the end. Question number 5 here, we've got 6x squared minus 5x minus 6. And I'll again employ the AC method. Seeing as how we have had some students who had both difficulty and just wanted to see it repeatedly. So 6 times 6 gives me 36. So the factors of the AC product are 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 4 and 9. Um, and then from there we have 3 and 12. And of course 6 and 6. Um, when you compare those factors to the b value, the b of 5, you pretty quickly come up with 4 and 9 as your factors. And then what we do after that comparison is we rewrite the algebraic expression and we blow up that middle term. This gets partitioned out into a sum, and I'm going to use, well, I guess I'll use plus 4x, and I'll use minus 9x. Could again be either order there. It doesn't really matter which order you do that in. Um, and then from there, it becomes a matter of pairwise factoring. So the first pair have both multiples of 2 and both multiples of x. So when you factor out the 2 and the x out of that first pair, divide out the 2 and the x out of that first pair, you're left with 3x plus 2. And on the second pair, the minus 9x minus the 6, we'll factor out a negative 3 on that. And again, be left with a 3x because minus 9x divided by minus 3 is plus 3x. And minus 6 divided by minus 3 is plus 2. So then you compare the two uh, parts that you just did, and you see that the x plus 2 is common to both of them. And so you divide out the 3x plus 2 from both terms, separate that out, and then you're left in the first term with the 2x, and in the last term, just a minus 3. So uh, there's your answer. Of course, the order could be reversed by commutativity. You might have had the 2x minus 3 first and the 3x plus 2 second, but that's another example of the AC method. Now, as you look at question 6 here, we got 6 y to the 4th minus 15y cubed. And of course, obviously the y is common. You factor out the lowest power you see, remember, when you, especially particular to the calculus, um, you see a common term, you factor that term out to the lowest power. And so we're going to factor out a y cubed. And of course, 6 and 15 also share a factor of 3. So we factor out the 3. So we're dividing out 3y cubed, and that's going to leave us with the first term being a 2y. Make sure you confirm that for yourself. And then the minus 15y cubed, factor out 3y cubed, divide out 3y cubed, and you're left with a minus 5. And that factorization is finished. That was all there was to it. Question number 7. This is sort of the business we were talking about seeing structure and the basic algebra structure in the calculus. A lot of the simple foundation ideas that you learn in high school, those are the things that make the calculus easy. And so as you look at this thing, there might be a tendency to want to like distribute that 4 or something, which I guess you could do. But more than that, seeing the structure, they both have a squared minus 1s. They're sharing an a squared minus 1 separated by this subtraction. So we factor out the a squared minus 1, much like we do when we're employing the factoring by grouping. And then what does that leave you with? When you look at this first pairing, the a squared minus 1 times the b squared, divide out the a squared minus 1, and that's going to be a b squared. And then a squared minus 1 divided out of the 4 times a squared minus 1 is going to leave you with a minus 4. And here again, we did see people leave the answer just like that. Of course, the mission was to factor completely. And so each of those pairs is a difference of squares. So each of those pairs should be factor treed. A squared minus 1 to a plus 1 times a minus 1. And b squared minus 4 to b plus 2 times b minus 2. So that's exercise number 7. And finally, pretty straightforward right here. This question 8, we've got 2x cubed plus 4x squared plus x plus 2. And the first pair, if we factor out a 2x squared, divide out a 2x squared from each term, that leaves you with 2x cubed divided by 2x squared. You should see that as just an x remaining there. And 4 divided by 2 and x squared divided by x squared leaves you with just a 2 right there. And we did have a few people that just left it like this. Well, again, talking about structure, what we want you to see is that this x plus 2 right here, you can think of that as a quantity times a 1. So we have 2x squared times x plus 2 plus 1 times x plus 2. So what we do is we split out the x plus 2 from each term, and dividing that x plus 2 out from each term, this first term becomes just a 2x squared. And this second term, you can't have nothing there, is the point. So you're going to have a plus 1. And then those are algebraically prime. There's no more factoring you can do. And so that would have been your answer for number 8. So those are the video solutions to 5, 6, 7, and 8 from unit test 1. And we'll have 9 and 10 up in just a minute and go from there.